Welcome everyone to another Dark and Darker Delve video. This time I'm looking at the fighter class from the most recent playtest. This little clip starts off with me getting the jump on a wizard after chugging an invisibility potion, which I thought was kind of funny. And we're going to go into a few more clips where I talk about my thoughts and break down my plays until we end with a full dungeon delve. So in this 2v1, I'm starting off with my longsword, damaging that barbarian quite a bit before I shift my attention to the fighter. Fortunately for me, the skeletons provide a little bit of space, and the barbarian ultimately decides he doesn't want to push me. I've got him pretty low from earlier in the fight, and I'm going to switch to my bow and take him out with a headshot there, just showcasing the power of the versatility the fighter brings. In this clip, I'm charging another set of nakeds. So this rogue absolutely demolishes me with movement and puts some dots on me. The cleric then hits me with a judgment and I'm looking pretty low. I back into the corner and I make sure they both can't hit me at the same time. I land one headshot and then a nice body swing on the rogue to kill him, and then a couple of lucky swings on the cleric takes him out as well. So this is my build going into the longer delve. I'm dropping Weapon Master and I'm taking a few of the more defensive perks. I want to take advantage of the fighter's tankiness and some decent gear to do my damage. I don't necessarily need to worry about Weapon Master because I'm rocking a crossbow and I have some weapons already, but I do highly recommend Weapon Master as a perk if you're just starting out, because it lets you go from 0 to hero like nothing else. When you can just pick up and employ any single weapon you find in the dungeon, you can get a lot of power really quickly, and you're less reliant on RNG for something that a fighter can use, although they can use quite a bit right away. Also, especially when you're new to the game, being able to equip a bow is super handy because PvE can do a lot of damage if you're not careful, but a bow really trivializes most PvE encounters, which means you can safely clear out mobs without having to worry about taking damage and wasting gold on consumables. So right away in this dungeon, I'm popping that spider pot at the end of the hall so we don't have to deal with all the spiders that come out of it. One does spawn instantly, but we're able to kill that pretty quickly as well. I'm just using my crossbow here. It's not worth it running in, trying to take another hit with a sword. You might take a little bit of damage, and I'm just going to use my crossbow quite a bit to clear out the PvE. There's a mummy room at the end of the hall that we're thinking about going to, and I'm trying to convince my friend that we should go down there, but he wants to clear and open this passage just in case we need an alternate route, and that's not a bad idea. Opening it up part way so that we can retreat through this way if we need to is a good idea. So we clear out this skeleton, and then we're going to go back into the mummy room. I pull out my sword and shield just in case they're pushing through right away. I'm taking a look where that old spawn used to be because, you know, old habits die hard. Grab a little loot on the ground, and then I open this door at max distance because who knows who's waiting on the other side. Pull out the crossbow, and yep, there's a team right there. Take a quick shot and miss, but we're going to use our ranged weapons to advantage here to do a little bit of chip damage. So we want to get some damage in before we completely push into the room, and fortunately for us, the wizard on the enemy team helps us out with that, blasts his own fighter from behind. And now we're thinking, yeah, this is a good time to push. My friend really wants to take advantage of that damage that was done, so he pops his sprint and just runs in. I pop a health potion and I'm running in soon after. Gonna keep my crossbow at the ready, swing right on this wizard. Don't let him cast any more spells. Pull out my shield as soon as I shoot once because I don't want to be reloading in combat. And we tag team that ranger. Also, to our benefit, this team isn't completely ratted. They brought in some healing potions. So pick some of those up, grab some of their consumables, some of the loot they've already collected, and this naked ranger, unfortunately, does absolutely nothing to me, even though he blasted me with his triple shot for the most part. The perks that I have and the armor that I'm wearing means that I just don't take a lot of projectile damage. So I'm organizing my inventory a little bit to make it easier to collect loot later, and you'll notice that I've taken most of the potions off my belt because at the end of the day, I find potions, while they're useful, definitely make you easier to see, and I want to limit that as much as possible. I do recommend, though, generally keeping the health and invisibility potions off, and if you are going to keep one set of potions on, keep the protection ones on. They provide the most burst HP, through the instant shield they give you, and also they store directly in the middle of your back, making it a little bit easier to hide them if you're facing your back to the wall. Whereas both the invisibility and the health potion go on your hips, meaning from the front and the back, people can see you even if you're hiding in shadows. And nothing is a dead giveaway more than these glowing Christmas orbs. So protection potion is okay to keep on your belt, but invisibility and health probably best to be tucked away in your backpack until you need them. So we're clearing out the mummy room here. We're definitely smashing these pots because it's worth quite a bit of money. I'm putting my axes on my belt, and typically I try to keep throwing axes and potions at the ready and not a torch, but when I swapped out to those green Francisca axes, it switched it around. But I do have a crossbow as a fighter, so I have a quick ranged option when I need it. And the crossbow is great as a quick swap. If you keep it loaded, it lets you move and shoot pretty quickly. It's just the reload time that's a pain. So in a fight as a fighter, you get one sort of quick shot that you can use to either take down a fleeing opponent or open up the fight, which you saw me do a little bit earlier. We move through the death swarm and we notice this torch on the ground, and I take a swing at the skeleton just to make sure it's dead. And with all these open doors, we realize, yeah, we're probably following another team. So we take a look around. I pull out the crossbow, want to be ready just in case there's another fight coming up. I want to take advantage of that versatility the fighter brings. I'm doing a little CSI here by checking this corpse, seeing if it's been looted. If there is loot on it, it might indicate the team may be rushed through here. But these doors are closed. I'm not sure where they're at. But I open this door and I see movement all the way across. So I crouch down. I see this torch is already turned off, so I'm trying to take advantage of the shadows over here. I see them, but they haven't seen me, so we think they don't really notice us. And I have a crossbow. I'm going to really take my time and line up a shot. I only get one. The refire rate is really slow on the crossbow. So I jump up, take my shot, and boom, headshot. The other one I notice is going for a runner, and bam, managed to get him too. I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty spicy here. And see a third one, take the shot. My friend gets it though, so that's okay. We want to share the kills, and we have a little bit of a Discord moment as we sort of internet high five over this epic team wipe that we didn't even really have to fight. Kind of laughing to ourselves about these poor undergeared noobs. Oh man, look at them with their basic starting equipment. But that's the power of the fighter. You have the versatility. You have great ranged options with the ability to equip bows through Weapon Master. You have crossbows, which do a ton of damage, and you still get to wear some of the best armor in the game while using a shield and some of the best some of the best weapons. So just doing a little bit of looting that our friends didn't get to do. Those dragonflies always have great loot. And I'm just checking all these bodies. You'll notice I go back because, I'm not great at looting, especially after a PvP fight. Get all hyped up, get all excited, and don't do a good job of checking gear. Partly it's the visual cues. It's really hard at a glance to know whether or not the gear they're wearing is gray or green. And sometimes it's worth double checking. So taking some time now just to fill our inventory with garbage. The treasure is definitely space efficient, and early on, when you don't have a ton of money, you generally want to just fill your inventory with as much stuff as possible so you can go back and make a little bit of money. I would even recommend taking that money and buying a whole bunch of gray weapons, because the weaponsmith will let you buy multiples of the same gray weapon over and over, and you can give yourself a little bit of a stockpile. Here I make some pretty bad mistakes fighting this pair of skeletons. I take damage from the archer, which is not always avoidable, but I definitely take 2 avoidable hits trying to take out that skeleton quickly. And I use some of my consumables in order to get topped up. I do still have Second Wind available, and you might be wondering why I don't use it here. I'm still thinking, we're going through Mummy Room. This is a high PvP traffic area. It's pretty likely there'll be another team in here. I would rather use my consumables that take time to heal up and save Second Wind in case there's a PvP engagement a little bit later. So I do just that, use my consumables, heal up to full, let my friend go in first who's a little bit more healthy than me, but then we're both going to go through and we realize, hey, this is not looted and the mummies are here. He pulls all the mummies to one side, I come in behind, try to grab a couple, which I do, and I'm using the wide swing of the Falchion to double my damage. You're seeing I'm swinging into both of them with a single swing, which means I can just clear them out a little bit faster, which is definitely what we want to do, because the last thing we want is a team jumping us while we're clearing out PvE. Also, always make sure you're looting these mummies. They have great gear, which is one of the reasons why this room is so popular. Obviously, the treasure lying all over the floor is another reason, and I hoover a little bit of that while leaving some for my friend. I don't want to be too greedy. We grab these chests in the corner, and we're going to head north into Pyramid Room, which we like to call it, which has all those flying skull bat things. These are a great source of throwing weapons and amulets. So I see through the door that they're actually up, which is pretty rare this late in the raid, but that means that, yeah, we could probably take a few of these out. I could use my crossbow, but most of these I can take out in one hit, unless it's a red one like this one, which means it takes 2. So I take a little bit of damage from that one, but nothing too bad, and I start looting. I also see our dead friend on the ground here and realize, oh, he's got a soul in his pocket and all this starter gear. Tells a little bit of a story of the poor noobs in the mummy or in the skullbat room. There is a res shrine in here, so maybe that's what he was going for when he got either taken out by PvP or some of these flying bats. We go up here, there's lots of chests to loot in this room, lots of these little bats. Decide to keep just swinging. Once I get another red one, does some damage to me, and I'm actually taking a lot of damage, and decide, we're at the end of the raid. You know what? I am just going to pop second wind. It's not worth it using consumables. We're almost out here. And so I pop second wind, and then my friend says, oh, I think I hear something. So I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, that's okay, yeah, we're doing it. Okay. Doing a little bit of looting here. And yep, he's confirmed there's a team. They're coming. So I pull out my crossbow, and we have a bit of an engagement over here. I shoot at this ranger, and there's a cleric as well. So it's a 2v2. I'm going to try to take out this cleric first, because this ranger doesn't seem to be doing a lot of damage to us. Fortunately, my friend wraps around, and I'm able to clear that cleric with a crossbow bolt to the spine, and a few quick slashes on this ranger with the falchion, and he goes down too. So nice little team play there. My friend had the wherewithal to wrap around the cleric so that I can have a clear line of sight. And we take out this team rather quickly. So now we're just doing a little bit of inventory Tetris. I decide, yeah, this is pretty good. And this pretty well ends the raid. We figure this is the last room. We've wiped out most teams. Might as well just open a portal and take it back to the lobby. So once again, the fighter is a fantastic class, like every single class in Dark and Darker. You'll hear me say this. I love playing everyone. I play every class as high as I can during every playtest. And you'll never hear me say something bad about them. I think they're all fantastic. But just like all the others, I love playing the fighter, and I hope you had fun watching this raid. Hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.